Check this shit out. Another satellite being launched from Antarctica. Check this out. You're going to love this one. This is your $1 trillion fucking satellite program. A goddamn fucking balloon. A balloon, people. Here's a visual description of what I just read in that document. Down a taxiway and getting in the loft and launching it. Watch what happens. If you like apples, how you like them fucking apples? That's 8,000 fucking pounds, people. There goes fucking $20-30 million on a balloon. It's not inside a fucking rocket nose cone. There you go. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yay! Now you want to know what NASA is spending all that fucking money for? On helium? NASA has spent a shitload of money on helium. So you got to ask yourself, what the fuck is all that helium for, right? You think, okay, maybe it's for the vacuum chamber. They're doing all kinds of testing. No, bullshit. That fucking helium is for their fucking balloon program. What else would you use fucking helium for? What would you use helium for? You use fucking helium to fucking float.
It's at 18,000 feet right now.
Come on, people. This common sense. This common fucking logic.
Hey, the payload is now at 105,000 feet.
Look at that. 105,000 feet.
Quite well, even with the naked eye. It's nice and well inflated now.
So based on the size of that balloon,
now we're at about 120,000 feet.
Look at that. So these things got to get to at least 150, maybe 100, maybe they can get to about 180,000 feet. But at nighttime, see this fucking thing. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see the satellite, period. And here is the Swedish Space Center website. It's in the description section of this live chat session. This is the Swedish Space Center. And as you can see, they have balloons and rockets, payloads. It's the Swedes. Here's their space center. They do balloon launches. Now, let me take you to the document I downloaded from their website. Now, this is a list of balloon launches from the Esrange Space Center starting December 9th of 1982. These are balloon launches, people. These ain't fucking rockets. It says it. List of balloon launches. So I want to go down this list and I want you guys to see something very, very fucking interesting. It may shock a shitload of you. It should shock fucking all of you. It didn't shock me because I've been known about this program for a long time. Okay? And I want you to see something important. There's going to be some things here that you may see that are going to catch your eye. All right? Because I want you to look. You see the campaign, you look at the payload. You see this, people? What does that say? Mir. That's the Mir fucking module. That's the Mir space module that's supposed to be attached to the fucking ISS right now. That's the Mir space module. 1999, Mir. It's the Mir space module, people. On a balloon. The Mir space module on a fucking balloon. The ISS does not exist complete the way they show it on television. Here goes another one. Mir on a balloon. What they are showing you of the space station is a fucking computer-generated image. They are not showing you the complete fucking module put together, flying at 17,000 miles an hour for fucking 15 years. Here you go. Look at this. Support Mir. They sent up a support balloon to resupply the Mir on a fucking balloon. On a balloon, people. Look at this. Orion. Orion payload. Look at here. Inmarsat. You want to know where your satellite phone communications come from? Fucking balloon. A balloon, people. A balloon. I'll supply this document to whoever wants it. Here we go. Inmarsat test. Balloon. If you were to take time to search every single one of these flights to match it up with a particular rocket launch that they claim this fucking thing was on, I guarantee you, you will be able to compare it with this Swedish Esrange Space Center balloon flight list. Balloon flight list. This is in 2002, people. 2002. For those in Europe, you ever heard of Inviasat? Look at Inviasat. Inviasat. These things are supposed to be testing the atmosphere for particulates and, you know, for pollution control. Balloons, people. You can't come to any other conclusion. You don't have any other information to prove you were at the launch pad and you saw them put this fucking thing inside the nose cone of a rocket. You didn't see it. I don't give a fuck who you work for. You can work for NASA, you can work for the fucking Germans, you can work for the Russians. You did not see what you thought you saw going into a fucking nose cone of a capsule and with an unedited fucking video stream and put on a launch pad and launched into the fucking sky on a rocket, on a fucking missile, a bomb. You didn't see that because it didn't fucking happen. Look at NASA. Why is NASA using the Swedish to launch a fucking balloon for them? Think about that. They're everywhere, people. They got relationships with all these fucking space agencies. They're carrying out the deception, the fraud, the hoax, the scam, the bullshit. It's all here. It's all here, people. I keep saying it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. You can talk about it all day long. You can claim this is your theory, this is your hypothesis. You ain't got no documentation to fucking back it up. You just want to show some bullshit video and you're not a videographer and you don't know how to do video analysis. You got to get the documentation. And here's the documentation right here. NASA, 2011, LED, ESO, high wind. Just check these out. Because I've checked out all of this shit. NASA, 2003, 2013, Sunrise 2. Look at that. Balloon. Balloon, people. That's a complete list. It goes all the way to 2014. 2014, people. 2014. There you have it. Okay. There are people online who they're so in love with NASA, they will tell us, all these trolls will say, no, I've seen satellites myself. They'll say, no, I've seen satellites myself. I've seen it in my telescope. I've seen the Hubble. I've seen the space station. I've seen a satellite pass over. Okay, I'm going to agree. You saw the Hubble. You saw the ISS. You saw whatever satellite they might have put in orbit. But guess what? It's not in fucking space. Because space is classified and defined at 262,000 feet. And the international line is 328,000 feet. So there ain't no fucking way you're looking at anything at fucking 200,000 feet. You're looking at the Hubble and the ISS floating around in the fucking thermosphere, moving at high speeds because the hot air up there moves at high speeds, very high speeds. How fast those speeds are, who knows? But we know this for a fact. The higher you go, the faster you have to go. Oh, look at the satellite up in the sky. You see the sun reflect off of it? There it is. But you don't see the tether. You don't see this dark colored black fucking balloon floating in the nighttime sky. I'm going to show you guys a picture of the color of this balloon, and you tell me there's no fucking way you'd be able to see this. And it's interesting that they fly these balloons at times and fly them on trajectories where they'd never come in front of the fucking moon at night, at a full moon, because then you'd be able to see the tether. You never see them in the daytime. They're at high altitudes where you can't see them. You can't even see the satellite because it's also a specific color where you can't see that color at high altitudes. You can't see a white painted or silver colored fucking satellite in the daytime because one, you got the sunlight deep in your eyes, clouding your view, fucking with your view. They know this. They're using our lack of ocular acuity to distort our visions to say, there's no fucking way people will look up in the sky looking for one of our satellites floating on a balloon. We've been showing them video for 75 years that all these things go up on rockets. Bullshit. Nothing goes up on a fucking rocket. There's nothing in the nose cone of that fucking rocket. Period. Period. They all crash in the fucking ocean. 33 of these are stationed around the world. 33 of them. Half of them are flown unmanned, means they can be remotely controlled on the ground like they control fucking Reaper and Predator and Global Hawk drones. Half of these can be flown without pilots inside of them. They can fly 24 hours. They can be refueled in the air at high altitude to do nonstop fucking flight ops. They've got everything on board that you would need to do the same communications on the ground. 15 of these can be flown without pilots, unmanned. When I spoke to my professor, who used to be a Defense Intelligence Agency officer, he was in charge of the U-2 ISR program, Intelligence Surveillance and Reconnaissance program. I asked him how many of these would be needed to cover the entire Earth in a 24-hour period. He told me, you only need 10. You could cover the entire Earth. And your satellite photos that you guys see, satellite imagery, high altitude imagery that they claim is coming from the ISS, is coming from the fucking U-2. The U-2 is taking the high definition photographs and they're being presented as ISS footage. Don Pettit told you in the Tyranny of the Rocket Equation, there ain't no fucking way humans ever left the fucking Earth. They ain't never left the fucking Earth in the space. This is it right here. It says here, reconnaissance and surveillance from the stratosphere. The stratosphere. Everything we know of, communications, imagery, you name it. Everything stays within the stratosphere, which means we can't get fucking beyond the goddamn fucking thermosphere. We can't get there. We can't get there. This is our limitation. We can't go beyond this technological capability because we just can't get out there. We can't get there, people. When they say the U-2 flies at the edge of space, I'm sorry to tell you, 70,000, 85,000 feet is not the edge of fucking space. The edge means you're maybe within 5,000 to 10,000 fucking feet of the Kármán line, which is 328,000 motherfucking feet. How the hell could you be up in the U-2, be on the edge of space? The edge of what space? You mean the next space, which is from the stratosphere, is the mesosphere, and then the thermosphere? Because maybe they're on the edge of the mesosphere. Or they ain't close to the thermosphere because it's too goddamn hot up there. It's in excess of 500 degrees Fahrenheit. You honestly think that this aircraft will be able to fucking withstand those heat temperatures? Look at the SR-71. They tried to take it up there, and look what happened to it. Fucking, you had fuel lines fucking melting because of the heat, the high heat, and the speed. They can inflate this fucker from the water, okay? This was I think there was a satellite attached to this, and they deployed this bad boy. I'm going to show you the video. You'll find it interesting. But I'm going to tell you something here right now. I want you to think about this. This balloon is black in color. There's some other things that I'm going to show you that get you interested in researching something else regarding this particular balloon. Because think about this. If they launch this balloon, right, say at dusk, would you be able to see this bad boy at night if there was a satellite attached to it on a 100-foot tether? You hell no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't see shit in the dark night black sky unless they lost control of it and it passed in front of the moon. Then you'd be like, what the hell was that? Okay, because remember, they got transparent balloons, they got these dark colored ones. But if this was if you saw, you would not see this at nighttime at all. You wouldn't see this at nighttime at all. Period. And what's interesting about this, they got this fucking thing, it's probably about the size of a fucking football field. Just think about that. Think about the possibility that they can actually flip a switch and change the transparency of this thing in the daytime to where literally it converts to a translucent texture, and then they flip off the switch, and it goes back to this color.